Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to the Fuel Podcast, where purpose, passion, creativity, leadership, and financial responsibility all collide in conversation. Hopefully something be said today to inspire, to challenge you, to humor you, whatever it may be. But we're here, man. We just want to set a fire to your passion and what it is that you do. I am Tyrone McCrary. I'm here with my lovely wife, Tanya McCrary, down at the other end.
Hey, y'all.
And we
back.
we back.
Another one.
We back. And we have some amazing guests with us, some good friends, man, some awesome people. Here with us today, we have Nadene and Brian Long, man. We so excited, man. Come on, give a couple of hands for being on.
How you guys
right now. Before we get going and get into this, and I introduce what we're going to talk about today, just come on, tell us something about yourself, Nadene, and then Brian. Just tell everybody a little something about yourself. Where you from?
I'm from the A, from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL.
Georgia Peach.
Georgia Peach. I'm from Atlanta, but I'm an Auburn graduate, so War Eagle. I'm also a mother, and I love music.
I love
to work.
Wow.
I love to work.
Wow, that might explain your grind. All right.
We are from Birmingham, Alabama, because when she tied herself to me, kind of took her to Birmingham. But we moved out to San Antonio in 2012, so we've been here roughly 9 years. Like my wife said, we met up in college. Have two lovely boys, Michael and Malachi. Ages 8 and 12.
All right.
Can't even believe it.
Yeah, they grow up fast.
They grow
quick.
up so fast. But my background is in engineering, and then I've been in construction for about 15 years or so. And recently, my wife got into real estate. I say recently, it's been about 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And so when she made the jump into real estate, I made that jump kind of behind her and came and started doing general contracting. So I've been doing general contracting for about 4 years now.
That's what's up. So if you don't know, right now, today, our episode is titled Married and in Business.
Married and in business.
Married and in business. Woo!
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, that's it right there. So hopefully we're gonna inspire some couples.
Yeah.
If you're doing this thing together. But let's talk about that a little bit. Without getting that's we want to have some honest conversation.
Yes, let's
do
it. Let's do it.
If we gotta pray afterwards, then we'll pray afterwards.
We don't know any other way.
But that's how challenging that is, that, man. I mean, when you're talking about being married and in business together, you hear people say things like, man, I can't be in business. I can't be in business with my husband or business with my wife. But I'm starting to see. I don't think it's a trend, but you're seeing more couples. They call them power couples now, right? More power couples, couples just getting together in business and going after it, man. They're winning. They're winning together. But let's talk about a little bit. How challenging is that? Nadene, let's start with you. I mean, how challenging is it when you're trying to, you're doing business with your spouse?
Very challenging. I think specifically for Brian and I, we are two totally different people. Yep. I am a free bird, and he is very analytical.
Very structured.
So a lot of times to get on one accord for just anything can be difficult, let alone how we're able to provide for the household.
Yeah.
In doing business together. It's difficult. And the other thing I would say is being able to shut it off.
Exactly.
Like I said, I love to work. He has great work ethic, but at the same time, he kind of knows when to shut it off. Right. I don't like to shut it off.
Ooh, that's got to be challenging, right?
Yeah, I don't like to shut it off. It's a passion. I truly am passionate about what I do, and so a lot of times he'll tell me, hey, we need to separate. We need to stop this, or just shut it off for a second. And I have no desire to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's challenging.
I think that's been the most challenging aspect.
I would say, yeah.
The most. And so I came from corporate America in operations management, where I'm working 16-hour days and just kind of slaving away at work, and come home and really have no energy, no time or anything for family life. And during that season of my life, it made me recognize how much I really do value the balance.
Right.
And so when I got out of corporate America, I vowed to, when I was working for myself, I would never work for myself as hard as I was working in corporate America, because I didn't have the balance.
I always work, but just the thought of, hey, I can work for myself
I mean, and that
in that grind and then see the fruit of it. That's what I love.
And so it's a balance of work hard, play hard.
Right.
If I'm gonna put in 16 hours one day, I'm not going to work the next day.
Right. Hey,
when you're the boss,
I'm
you
with
can
you
do
on
that.
that.
Yeah, you would be.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
You would be with them on that one. Yeah, you would.
But, you know, I can see how detrimental that can be, too, not to be able to turn it off, especially when he said when it comes to, you know, your family life. You got to be able to turn it off at some point, because if you don't, it does bleed over to certain areas, and it begins to affect certain areas. And so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then us having 2 small kids, they command attention.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So you can't go in there being not present, being distracted because you're worrying or thinking about work. They're going to feel neglected in that, and you don't want to do that to them.
And
that's not fair to them.
But that's a good point. That's good for conversation, because, you know, if you, especially if you're starting, right, or if you've been in it and you do have, you know, a family, you got your children, being that you can work when you want to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I noticed it just, you know, pastoring full time, having the flexibility in some of the other ventures we're in, trying to set yourself to do like, okay, I still need to try to do like an 8-hour or early day, because if I'm waiting because I can to work in the afternoon, your kids at home, they're like, yo, they want to do something. Hey, let's watch a movie. And you're like, oh, I got to work. You know, I can see how that does provide some tension, you know, in the home, and maybe not in the marriage, but with your kids, right?
But I think one thing that, you know, when you're an entrepreneur and you're starting a business, I think that there has to be, number one, an understanding between the two parties that there is going to be a grind. Because when you're starting it off, but I think one thing that he has helped me in that is that I had to find a balance where we had to know when to pull in help.
Gotcha.
Like, with all of what we do, if it's something that I can delegate, which I really don't like to do, but it would benefit the family, then I had to learn how to delegate. And I had to know when to get I didn't know when to get one. He kind of made me get an assistant so that I can have that extra time.
But it's kind of like what you were talking about. It's an identifier of a power couple.
Yeah.
The ability to be able to see a weakness in the other one, but then be the support system to be able to magnify the strengths.
Yeah.
And then cover the weaknesses.
Beautiful. You know, to be opposite, you know what I mean, and be able to see the weakness, you know what I mean? I think that is so beautiful, to have balance and, you know, one not be like the other. You know what I mean? That I think that's so important.
We're throwing out some good words, but the words that we are throwing out literally leads you to almost like a brick wall kind of word, but it's very humbling. It's a very humbling experience to be vulnerable enough to need someone and be supported by someone in the same endeavor with the same goals and everything. So it's almost like I think I know the best way, but then you have to humble yourself and say, I don't know everything about it, because she sees my strengths and weaknesses different than I see them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I need her observation to help me be the best me. You see what I mean? But I can only get her observation if I humble myself. If I'm up on my high horse or I'm a little stubborn in my ways, then it's going in one ear and out the other, and then there's the conflict.
Oh, man.
But I have to humble myself to be able to receive that observation. She has to do the same on her end, and then we can support each other.
Oh, that's good word right there. Hey,
I hope y'all are listening to that. That's good medicine, man. That's good medicine.
That's
you know,
good word.
and when I look at the definition of a power couple, because I'm hearing humility and balance, right? And what we're saying, a definition of a power couple is a couple consisting of two people who are each influential or successful in their own right.
Wow.
You know, and so you're talking about either your own influence in your area of work expertise, as well as your success in that, and then you're wanting to be successful. You know, you're wanting to, and we always say it, right, in all of our work, man. We also, one thing we want to do is be able to provide for our family, right? Leave a legacy, leave something behind, and so that becomes the that's the reason, and it's part of the fuel by why we do what we do. But you don't want to lose sight, you know, of where the grind becomes. You're grinding and you're losing the ones you're grinding for.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right? You're losing focus on the reason why you're doing what you're doing.
Good.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
So are there any other challenges, though, you guys would say? I mean, you know, along with not, you have to grind.
Yeah.
The challenge of balance. Is there anything else that you guys would say?
I'll throw a challenge out there. So because we are so connected, being married, being intimate and close and everything, it's hard and difficult to, quote unquote, stay in your own lane. Even within business, I have my lane, she has hers. She's in real estate, I'm in construction. The two meet at a certain point.
Yeah.
And that's where we can collaborate. But whenever she overextends herself in the construction, or I overextend myself in the real estate, there's a problem.
Okay.
There's a problem.
I can see that.
That's another challenge of, man, we're so close, we're so bonded, we're so together on things, and I know so much of what she knows, but I just don't know it how she knows.
I hate when he tells me how to price a house.
I be running comps.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's coming out.
Hey, look, this should be at least $250.
Wait, you said you be running comps too?
I be running comps in my head.
In his head. No, look at
in his head.
This is, no, we can get. I'm like, no, Brian. And that can be an argument because, again, we're looking at the profitability, looking at so many things. And then so when he sets an expectation that I don't think is in his lane, but then I'll come back to him and say, well, hey, I need you to do this construction over here, or I need you to tear out this wall, and I know it can be done.
I was just about to say, she will walk into a house and tear down walls and redo a layout like it ain't nothing, and just walk away and just be like, all right, where's the new walls? Where's the new layout?
And you in his lane.
Yeah, I'm in his lane.
You in his lane.
In his lane.
Yeah, so that's something I think we're getting better at, though, because I am understanding the construction process. And he understands how I come up with comps. Yep. So I think now we're getting better at that. But I know that was
so like learning from one another in that area, but also
and
realizing that but she's the SME when it comes to comps, and you the SME, the subject matter expert when it comes to
because now I'm starting to listen to because we've done it enough now that he can say, well, based off of experience, and I can't really deny that.
Right.
Yeah.
He hears the conversations that I have with different parties and referral partners, and so he knows what's going on in the industry. So it's not like he's blind to it, but sometimes, again, that humbling yourself, I have to learn how to humble myself because he does know what he knows.
Yeah.
And, it's...
And respecting that.
I really have to respect
and trusting that.
Yeah,
yes, ma'am.
And then it becomes a beautiful thing where I don't have to know everything, but I know just enough to maybe, within conversation, plant a seed that may give her an idea.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And then she has all of the inner workings or the details that can connect the dots. I really don't know how to connect the dots, but hey, I've heard of this, leaseback thing before. Is that possible here? And then she'll think about it and be like, well, if I did this and that. Right. I don't know how it works, but I just knew enough to fill in a blank.
That's beautiful.
Well, and that's growing, man, like in being a power couple. But then it's so dope because you're developing, you're growing together. Definitely two becoming one in that. But, as you said, the balance in that, the humility that comes in that, and then staying in your own lane while you're working. I was thinking about this when we were talking about, married and business. But if you think about it, marriage is a lot like running a business. You're working together already, right? You're making investments. I think you have to understand what you're good at, what you're not good at. You're talking about being a helpmeet, right, to him, and then where he's strong. He may be strong in areas where you are, and then vice versa, and then being able to really come together and be one. So I don't think it's as hard as it's hard, but marriage is hard.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about business, it's a lot like running your marriage.
Thought about that.
But you do have to trust the person. But not only that, I think that we actually enjoy like working together and being around each other.
Yeah, that's
because sometimes again in doing business, it's like you don't always want it to be just business talk.
Right. Exactly. That's good.
And the thing is that we because we are friends, because we actually like being around each other, we can actually have other conversations. So I think that's,
So don't do business together if you don't like each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't trust how they're doing, managing money.
Right.
You don't trust how, because in marriage, there are some couples that, they don't trust each other with money, but the marriage may be good.
Yeah.
Well, in business, it's a marriage of finances. Right. It's like it's a marriage of still everything.
Yeah. Let me clarify that too. I said if you don't like each other. If you're in marriage, hopefully you do like each other, right? I know people say, "What do you mean?" You know,
but be able to have fun with one another. Yeah. You know, like that's. I think we got to be able to have fun because again, you're in marriage. You wake up to them. You're on the job with them.
Right. All the time. Yeah.
We're with each other all the time.
And that can be tough, but at the same time, I think that it can also be dope too if you can start having fun and realizing that you're still one in the care that you do have for each other while you're working, right? You know, because I hear some people like, man, I couldn't be around them. I just got to get away from them. Right. And I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Having your personal time is good. But like you said, to be able to enjoy each other, have fun, you're laughing while you're working.
While we're working.
While you're grinding, you know, while you're building something, man. I think that's so dope.
And honestly, the more we get into our grind, I don't look for that free time to be by myself because if I'm in the grind, when I'm doing my construction, I'm by myself in my construction. I'm grinding.
Yeah, you're working on it.
I'm working, and same with her. She's working, and she's in her own quote-unquote space. It's free of me, even though we still work together. And like we said, we have that point where we can come back and merge. But if the grind stays the goal, if the goal is the grind and then that becomes the output, you're going to have your time. You're going to have your together time. You're going to have your intimate time. You're going to have your business time. Everything kind of works out with you working.
That's what's
See what
up.
I mean? It's like that.
With you working.
Yeah. It's like the faith is for the process, but you actually got to step out there on it. You see what I mean?
So you said something. There you go. So I want to get into that. You know, well, first tell me this before we talk about, because I want you to talk about the leap of faith, right? Like the faith it takes, one, going in entrepreneurship. You know, we may have people listening that they're right on the brink. They got something on their heart. They want to do it and just taking that leap. But how long have you guys, and you kind of alluded to, but how long have you been in real estate?
So we've been in real estate for 5 years, but how it happened, it was, I'll never forget that day. I come from a background of foster care and working with the state, you know, investigating sexual abuse cases. And I always told him, even back when, like, if anything, if I had to deal with a child death, that would be the end of it. I'm quitting. I'm not doing it anymore. And it just so happened that was the season that it happened. And I remember closing out the case, working it, and then I was sitting on the couch and I had the computer in my lap, and I was like, man, I need, like, I know we're going to be doing something different. I know we're going to be doing something different. I was like, but I've always loved it. He's like, well, just start going on Indeed and just start putting in applications. And the amount of anxiety I had sitting there, I was so nervous.
She was nervous filling out applications.
Wow.
And I could kind of sense the spirit kind of stir. And so
and
it
I
was
just
like
wouldn't do it. I just had the computer in my lap, and I wouldn't do it. And finally said, Nadene, click the send button.
Yeah, like, let's go. Like,
and I did. And a week later, I got called from an investment brokerage, and they were looking to change the culture. And so I was the first female woman that they hired. And they were like, hey, if you come on and you can get your license within a month, we'll pay for it. We'll get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it done in 3 weeks. And I took all my classes in 3 weeks and sold my first house before my license even came in.
Yeah.
It was that fast.
That fast.
But I'll say this, the seeds were planted even before that situation occurred. So we were a part of the same circle in college. And I've always been I've always had an entrepreneur spirit.
Right.
And so even in college, we had a think tank in college where our circles got together, literally, and this is back in 2003, 2004, something to that extent. And we had a think tank around business ideas of what we could collaborate as a group on.
First thing seven of us.
Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 of us, you know, various disciplines and everything. First thing that came up was real estate. First thing that was on the docket.
We wanted to buy up Auburn and just put people
and we
in
were
there.
trying to buy up rental
goal.
properties in Auburn for, you know, seasonal turnover type stuff. The second thing that was on the list, I find it very ironic, but the second thing on the list at that time was a taxi service to be able to take people to and from different locations.
Oh, wow, like an Uber.
Yes.
It was Uber before Uber, and I have the document of us doing the
yeah,
whole thing.
He has a tablet of it. We found it.
It's one of those where it lets you know you were in the right vein.
Yeah.
But like I said, those seeds were planted a long time ago of the passions that we kind of had, and then God kind of orchestrated things to bring those out, and He gave the increase when it was ready to happen.
So, this leap of faith, man, how was it? I mean, seeds were planted, right? You mentioned before, you had the background in construction, but what was it like? You know, I know so many people, man, we carry ideas for a long time, and it's just working for yourself and doing your own taxes and you know, the comfort of knowing you got a check coming in because you're working for somebody else.
Yep.
And now you get out here for yourself, and, you know, what was that process like, you know, getting started with the business? Like,
yeah. And so each aspect of the business, and each time the business kept getting better, it never failed. There was always a leap of faith that we would have to take. So I'm very analytical. I like to know all the details before I get started. And so the infrequency of knowing when income was coming in was a bother for me. That was a hurdle I had to overcome. But the timing of things, so I was able to financially, quote unquote, support the household while she gleaned and learned the basis of the real estate. And then when she got her foundation in real estate is when things started to shake up on my end in the corporate world. And so the leap of faith, it took her, like the bubbling feeling she had sitting on the couch.
You now had it.
I now had it because I had to let go of the corporate job, the 6 figures, to go to an undetermined amount of money. But I'm still trying to maintain the same lifestyle. And it had to be hey, God, you know me.
Right.
And I trust you. So here we go. And so there was a season, literally a few months of me almost working for pennies, quote unquote. But the purpose during that season was for me to learn and glean everything I needed to make my transition into residential. And so God orchestrated it to the point where I had the right people in place, the right mentors to be able to give me what I needed for as far as information, and also even put me in positions to be able to reach back into other people's life and pour out some of the things that I'm getting, which in turn helped me learn at a faster clip, basically, because I'm learning and teaching and doing. And so I have like a 3-folded cord of gleaning during this season. And then you come out of that and you're like just empowered and just ready to go.
So that's powerful though, I mean, because that's process, right? A lot of times we talk about leap of faith and, you know, we still have that squint mentality, like it's just going to happen. But doing that leap, man, you got to be patient. You have to definitely be progressive.
Can't be fearful.
You can't be fearful, and just the holding on part. But while you were doing that, you said something key. You kept gleaning. You kept learning. You put yourself in position. And I pray that aspiring entrepreneurs understand that, you know, that it's not going to come all overnight. You know, but what puts you in a position to become successful or start to achieve some level of success is being able to, while you are waiting, finding someone that you can sit under. You know, you may be working for pennies, but you got to go. You're not planning to stay there forever, right? But you understand that, man, there's some things I got to learn so I can so my value, you know.
Kind of like real estate, doing your due diligence, you know, in that process. You know,
something we've talked about before, you know, I used to just want things to happen so fast. And, you know, sometimes even the sin of comparison where you see people even start out where you are and then they're so far ahead of you. But I've learned that especially when you're trying to do kingdom work, it's not going to, he doesn't work like that. He really wants you to go through a process. And so especially when we do the kind of work that we do, when we're really trying to impact people and help people and educate people, we got to be solid. And I've become okay and actually embrace taking the stairs, really understanding with each step what I'm learning, integrity, patience, how to deal with people. how would God work this out for them? You know, just trying to really capture that before I'm just taking off and running. Because I have people following me, I have people relying on me, I have people trusting in me.
Yeah.
So I'm now okay with taking this serious because I know that builds the character that we need to continue to do what we do.
Yeah, I love what you said about that. I remember a while back I talked about that, just myself, like, man, everybody wants that elevated success, but you lose out on so much.
So much.
That I think that you might get there, but you don't have you don't have the capacity.
Right.
You know, you don't have the strength that it takes to stand up under that kind of weight.
Yeah.
That you really, that you really want. You know, I say all the time, man, like when you're talking about glory, it's weighty.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, it's weighty, man, and taking the stairs, it's longer, but I think it gives you longevity.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, it builds the character, builds the fortitude, it builds the capacity to really operate. Because I don't want to just achieve reach that level. I want to be able to thrive on that level, win at that level. You know, as my man Anthony Andrews said, shout out. He said, "Man, win on the level you at."
Yeah.
And so I want to win on that level, and to do that, taking the stairs, man. If there is a nugget that you could take today, don't be afraid. Don't be so impatient that you don't realize the value of taking the stairs, because you want to get there, you want to dominate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
On that level.
After you take them stairs, you strong, baby. Them cow muscles be looking good. You know what I'm saying?
Quads,
Quads. Yeah.
But you want to be solid.
strength.
You want to be solid in what you do. You know, and you want people to be able to trust in the work, but not just trust what you say, but now they've seen that you operate.
Absolutely.
They've seen the demonstration of all of that.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the stairs right now.
That's what's up. Enjoying it. It's some work.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Yeah,
is.
it's absolute work. And honestly, I think it causes you to slow down to the point where when obstacles come, they're not viewed as obstacles.
Yeah.
They're viewed as a challenge that God is looking for you to overcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so now it's like, when we get obstacles, it's like, well, how can I be the solution?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
You're
mean?
so quick to
Instead
take
of-
the
elevator.
and miss it.
Yeah.
Like,
Miss
oh,
an
yep,
opportunity.
nope, that's too much work. I'm gonna just go on to the
Right.
next thing. It's like, no, how can I be of some kind of help to this? You know?
Well, I tell you, that's been our life.
Taking the stairs.
Them stairs.
Yeah.
We've been on the stairs. We ain't caught not one elevator.
This is the
strong
beauty of
then.
it, though, and this is, it's like I feel it thick in my spirit. You take the stairs until he basically leads you through all of the processes that you need, and you build up the character that you need, and then your elevator moment comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
you're
ready,
able to
That's
handle
Yeah.
that moment.
But that's good, man, because you
B.
think about it, the longer that you are on the stairs, the more capacity you're building.
Yeah,
You can handle more. And, I think that's a very powerful thing, too, because you're seeing so many people falter or cave in, to the weight of what they're trying to stand under, because they don't have the capacity for it, the fortitude for it, the fight for it, because it's a fight.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They jump on the elevator, get to the top, and still be novice.
Yeah.
And then you end up
Short-lived.
it's short-lived, and you hurt people, endanger
people in the
yourself.
process.
Yeah.
And hurt. I mean, and really, you get hurt yourself, and ruin what it is that God might have purposed you for.
Exactly.
Because you didn't, Wow. That's what's up. That's a conversation in itself. You also said though, you talked about being able to help other people. One thing with Fuel, my challenge to every entrepreneur is to always find people to add value to.
Right.
I think that is I think that's a nugget in business that will keep you in business, is when you're so valuable because you add value to so many other people. Yeah. Like I was, last episode was with Steve, we were talking about, help me be great. And sometimes the mindset is, I ain't showing them this. Right. Or I'm not going to help another realtor because that's my sale. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or help somebody on the flip because that's mine, And if I do it that way, or if I do that, if I help them, it's going to take food out of my mouth.
Right.
But I just think, it's God's way, right?
Yep.
In sharing yourself and what you learn. I think it adds to. It's like that multiply concept, right?
Yeah.
Be fruitful, multiply.
Right.
How important has there been anyone, and you don't have to so much name them, but have you discovered the value in that because of what people have done for you? And has that led you to, you know, what's driven you to have that mindset to help other people?
We were just talking about this. What drives me, and I had to really find out, you know, I think it lends to your purpose, because, you know, being who we are, followers of Christ, I think that, you know, we all are called, but then there's that avenue in which God will use you to impact other people. And what drives me in helping people is I don't know how to answer this. I'm just going to answer it based off of how I truly feel about it. What drives me to help people is I hate to see people displaced. So I would say compassion, in a sense that what drives me in what I do and really look for solutions, because I'm not the typical realtor. I really try to, I try to solve problems. I look for the problem issues. So because I have that background of social services and working with children in homes and families, I saw that the biggest issue was that they were just displaced. There was no solid home foundation. Children were passed from home to home because mom didn't have enough money, or they were at grandmama's house, but the grandmama's house was falling through, so they didn't want the children to be there, so they would go over to an uncle's house or another family's house, and then they would end up being abused. So it was a cycle of just there's no stability. And so that's where I want to see people in homes. I want to see people in homes, so I educate a lot. So I didn't start off selling a lot. I started educating people about, hey, you can get a house even if it's $100,000. Most realtors aren't going to touch that because there's not much money in that. But that's okay, because guess what? They got an uncle somewhere that I'm going to get a sale off of later.
There you go, because of the generosity and what you've done for other people.
I think that what drives me and what allows me to continue to be successful even in times like this when the real estate market is ridiculous. It's so, realtors are struggling right now because there's low inventory. I'm searching for a solution. I'm searching to help somebody get into a home, whether it's a $50,000 home or a $600,000 home. Compassion towards stability in the home is what drives me.
That's why driven, T. You know, our first episode talking about that why. It sounds it's more it's where business and purpose and things meet. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like when you become why driven, it's so easy to add value to other
business
people.
Comes like I don't do much marketing in that being
give to others.
I don't do any marketing.
And you know, for a person, you know, being an entrepreneur, part of the hustle is you got to find business. You got to know when the next check is coming. And I can honestly say we've been blessed in that we haven't had to find the next check. It's coming to us because people know that we're looking to help.
That's what's up.
So we've been really blessed in this season.
And I'll say this, so mine is different than hers, but it still falls in the same category. So my purpose, I think, is more order, process, knowledge-based. And so the best season I had was when I was gleaning from the mentors around the construction process. Because that construction process was the gold. That's what everybody looks to glean from me is, hey, if I wanted to flip a house, I don't even know how to start. You see what I mean? How you start. And then we having a conversation. And so it's not necessarily the quote-unquote heart behind it. It's more of the mind and the application behind it that drives me to be able to learn new processes, learn new things within construction, so that if I do get called on or pulled on, hey, Brian, have you encountered this? What has been your experience with this? And then that's where I'm purposeful in, oh, yeah, I've encountered that. Let me give you some information. You need to check this out, or make sure you do this before you do that. Don't circumvent this process, because if you do one before the other, you're going to have to backtrack and rework, and then that's going to cost you money. I like that aspect of it. I like the execution. I like seeing people execute and then getting good results.
So y'all hear this once again, man. Whenever you can, well, you know, whether it be the stairs or whatever, I'm pretty sure you begin to discover your why along the way, right? Whether it was back in college and conversation, and now you have your why, your purpose, meeting your business ventures, and now you're doing it as a couple. I mean, I'm saying all this because it's like you really start to see how God like just really orchestrates it all. Like if you just trust him in that, it becomes your life, right? You know, and the lessons you learn, the capacity you build, the legacy you can set up to leave for your children, and then the value you add to other people around you, which in turn turns into more business. It's like if we could just capture that, right? The impact that we could make, you know, in our entrepreneurship and what we're doing. So let me, man, tell us a little bit, you know, we're gonna wrap this up in a few, but talk to me a little bit about TK Realty, right? I mean, that's now, there was some other things you mentioned before. It's TK Realty, and what's the other side? Or is that still,
so it's TK Realty Solutions.
Okay,
which it stands for the Kingdom Realty Solutions. But under that, we have TK Realty Group.
There we go. I remember y'all mentioned that.
And then we have TK Remodeling.
Okay.
And then in the future, we're going to have, you can call it TK Investments, but there will be an investment arm that kind of pulls off of the real estate and the construction.
Awesome.
So we got real estate, we got construction, we got the investments, and you guys, I mean, that's definitely real estate and your construction is what you guys are doing right now, heavily and working. That's what's up, man. That's
and might I add, they're very good at it.
Very good at it.
I'll say this. Something you brought out earlier was that, you know, God being involved and him orchestrating things. I think that aspect of it is key to your pursuit being genuine. You can't have a vain pursuit. You can't be in pursuit of somebody else's glory, because literally it's going to fall apart. But when he recognizes that your pursuit is genuine for what he has placed in you,
make room.
You start to see things just line up.
And you got to be real with yourself, because I know I have fallen short of that. I know that I have had a vain pursuit. And when I say it'll dry up,
it'll dry up so quick.
Y'all hear that?
Dry
up so quick. And then you have to, God will humble you and have you reevaluate what's on the inside of your heart. And when that happened, things changed.
And that genuine pursuit might not look as glorious. It's like taking the stairs, but it's the genuine pursuit that he recognizes. But then, even though you're taking the stairs, it's a sweatless victory. I'm getting upstairs, but I ain't sweating while I'm doing it, because he's putting things in place.
Ordering your steps. So, I mean, it's the challenge. I love that. I mean, think about it. It's like mind-boggling. It's like, man, you're taking the stairs, you're thinking about it, but he just lays it out for you, that if you could just be disciplined and patient and
open to correction.
There you, ooh, I love that.
Open to correction. I had to be open to entrepreneurship and being married. It'll challenge. Sorry, go back to the challenge.
No,
we back on challenge.
But we're getting that though.
No, but it has honestly made me a better person in that regard. You really have to think about things differently. You really do, especially if, you know, we're talking about kingdom work. I can't do the same things other realtors would do, even if it's a good thing.
Come on.
You can't operate the same way.
I can't cut those same corners.
You can't, even if it's generally done, even if it's something that is normally accepted. And then we have to challenge one another to make sure that we're both holding each other accountable to the same standard. Because we have to have the same standard.
Same standard.
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask next, what advice, you know, but there's a lot of advice that came out of this, but you know, what advice would you give, if not given already, to couples looking to make that launch, right? And maybe it's not so much when I say together in business, but you're still supporting, so that's still kind of together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she's launching now in her stylist and her boutique and different things. And I'm not so much in business with her, but I'm in business with her, if that makes sense. You know, I'm here to give that advice, to give that support. There are things she may pull from me because I do have a strength from. So, I mean, that's not my business with her in this sense, but we're still in it together. It's still that power couple mode. You know, there's some ventures and things I'm into that I still bounce it. Hey, what do you think? How should I do? Or she'll just share input, you know. So what other advice would you give, you know, a husband and wife team out there, you know, that's looking to be married and in business, or in, as I said, that support role Anything else that you guys would share with them other than we talked about the challenges and the humility and the balance and the stairs and, man, so much good stuff.
Yeah,
I would say check your heart when it comes to competition. Again, I'm just speaking about me.
Okay.
I am competitive.
I am too.
And so
sometimes
I think you really have to check your, like, he is not my competition.
Exactly.
I may have competition, but he's not my competition.
That's good.
And it could be in, okay, the amount of money we made this, because again, the businesses are together, but we both have different roles, right? And we both kind of had different businesses. So it's not a competition with how much business did you get or how much business did I get.
That's good. Man, you got to take that. That's good advice.
No, because especially if you're working together, the enemy will play on stuff like that.
Yes,
yeah, you will.
The enemy will play on stuff like that. So I would say that's just one. I have a million other, but you know, as the question came, competition. We're on the same team. And we're on a winning
team. Y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yep.
Same team.
We look to win every day.
And I'll say, based on the proximity, any insecurities that one person has will come up.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my piece of advice is going to be have open, honest, effective communication. Not necessarily about the nuts and bolts of things or the details of things, but about how you feel about it. Hey, I'm a little nervous about leaving my 9-to-5 job and going into an unstable income. I'm nervous about that.
Good.
But let's have that conversation. You see what I mean? She's not going to look at me different if I didn't, quote unquote, bring the bacon home. You see what I mean? Like, that's a conversation that has to be had. There will be seasons where she's the primary winner, I'm the primary winner, but we're on the same team, so we're winning together. But we got to have open, effective, honest communication to understand how that works.
Good.
You know what I mean?
And so
so key.
You're not competing in the open and honest convo. Man, that's that. A lot of nuggets, a lot of things have been shared today that I pray that if you're married and you're going to business together, you're moving in that power couple direction. Man, you glean from this, and pull, and hopefully it inspires you. T, anything else that you like to say? I know you were in business with Nadene.
With the TK Realty Solutions.
I wanted to be like, hey, so I have the best, dopest partner ever. Pastor Tanya McCurry. She keeps me grounded. And
do I really?
Absolutely.
Go ahead and tell the people.
I remember we have a client that calls us the lion and the lamb.
I can see it.
She has, honestly, having kingdom-minded people will remind you, hey, Nadene, chill out. Your approach, soften that a little bit. Yeah. And she has been excellent in helping mold me into the woman I know God wants me.
That's what's up.
In business. So find yourself a great partner in crime.
Great team. I hear that. Team all together.
It's a blessing.
Yep. Team all together.
It's a great thing. So more to come from TK.
Yeah,
TK. I can't wait to witness it and see, man.
You're a part of it, so
I'm glad I get to be a part of it. So exciting.
Well, I was going to say what's on the rise for TK, but
what's on the rise?
You mentioned the investment piece, but what was anything near that you guys are working at?
Literally, it's building the structure to be able to expand. And
I already see it though.
Yeah, getting.
I was about to say I see expansion.
Yeah, I see it. So what's on the horizon? Because you didn't really give it the way I thought you would.
How's it in your speech?
He didn't do it justice.
No. So I'm going to be fully licensed as a broker fully in July, and so I'm looking to grow our team. But they gonna take the stairs.
Yeah, gotta take the stairs now. You come on, you gotta take the stairs.
So we're gonna be adding people to go out and be problem solvers in this region and in this community, and we are growing the construction side this season.
That's what's up.
Right now, as we speak,
we're growing the construction side. I think that you've been quiet long enough.
Yeah,
and so I think that
time to spread your wings.
Yeah.
He was a great support in allowing me to kind of get stable and grow. But now I'm looking forward to being his support.
That's what's up. Yeah. Come on, give it up for TK Realty Time. Give it up, give it up, give it up. I give it up for y'all. That's what's up. Well, man, thank y'all for being on the show.
Thank you guys so much.
This was a great conversation.
A dope conversation.
Thank you.
You know, they're actually for our Fuel Network. You know, we'll make a plug about that. We're really embracing aspiring entrepreneurs, those that are already in business, and those that want to add value. So we'll have more information on how you can become a part of the Fuel Network, but they are actually on our advisory board and group. I wanted to have them on to just share their story, because I know there's so many other husband and wife teams that you might have been in it for a while, or you're trying to get into it and you're running into all kinds of challenges. So hopefully you took some of the nuggets, the wisdom of what was shared today, and that it inspired you to be that much better. So we want to challenge you, man. Go out, be great, add value, cultivate your why. Make sure that you bring this into what you do, you know, and that entrepreneur idea. We want you to succeed. And until next time, hey, be blessed. We love you. Come on, y'all, tell everybody, man, God bless.
God bless.
And we will see y'all the next show.
See you, family.